that she will make a run for the presidency in 2012.
Well, you're going to wash that off probably with a baby wipe at some point. Well, you know, Democrats now enjoy a filibuster-proof supermajority in the Senate, that magic number 60. But that's only effective if they all vote together. Well, we're now seeing some major divisions within the Democratic Party, particularly over health care reform. You know about those moderate and conservative blue dog Democrats who've been throwing up roadblocks. So what does this say about the Democrats as we go forward from here? Joining us now, Jason Schechter, former spokesman for President Bill Clinton, and Republican campaign manager Jay Townsend. Gentlemen, welcome on a Saturday afternoon.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Jay,
let me start with you.
Sure.
A setback for the White House. They wanted a vote. They're not going to get it. What now?
The White House and the Democrats had a really, really tough week. You saw a food fight erupt this week between Waxman and the Speaker of the House. Waxman then threatened to take the bill to the floor without going through his committee. You saw the Blue Dogs and Waxman calling each other liars on Friday. You had the White House demanding that this bill be passed by the end of August, and the Democratic leadership told the White House to go fly a kite. And the worst thing is for President Obama, his favorables are now down 16 points since the beginning of the year. The unfavorables are up 21. And for the first time in his presidency, his negatives exceed his positives. They're on the defensive right now and under great pressure to pass a bill.
All right, Jason, you just heard what that laid out, and there's another point I want to make out. They're going off on recess in August. Those congressmen, they're going home, and congresswomen, they're going to hear a mouthful from their constituents.
Yeah, I think there are certainly some issues that Democrats disagree about, but I think there are actually more issues that they agree about. I think they agree that insurance to cover people with pre-existing conditions. I think they agree that people should be allowed to choose their own insurer.
Yeah, but they haven't agreed on a bill. I mean, the Blue Dog Democrats and others are saying this is $1 trillion. There's too much money into that. Others don't like the Medicare cuts, so that they haven't agreed.
Yeah, but I think what you're talking about is a very process-focused debate that comes at the end of the legislative process. They've been able to get this far. 2 House committees have now passed legislation. The Senate is now talking, and I think what's important to stay focused on are the broad issues that Democrats do agree on, and I think they are. Actually, just yesterday, House Democratic leaders came out and said that they are all together in cutting growth of Medicare, and I think that helps advance legislation. So I think what we're talking about now is a very process-focused debate.
Yeah, but do you think that'll be enough? And what's going to happen when they spend a month back home and they hear from their constituents about the costs as well as the concerns over those who don't have insurance?
Well, I think both the president and Democrats will be out there promoting their agenda, and I think they will stay focused on what's important about this debate. The fact that 16% of the GDP right now goes to health care costs. In 10 years, that's projected to grow to 25%. We pay $6,000 more per person than other countries that get comparable health care coverage. I think those are the types of discussions that they're going to be having out in the field during the August recess, and I think that will keep people ultimately focused on what's important.
All right, well,
in terms of
you just laid out some of the facts perfectly, but Jay, is that enough? I mean, the fact is they're not together.
Here's the problem. It's not process. It's not coordination. What the Speaker of the House is trying to sell is a lie. It's a fraud. It's a hoax, and some of the Blue Dogs know it. Are doing the same thing with this that they did with the stimulus bill. Let's give it to Congress to write. Let's ram it down the throats of all the Blue Dog Democrats, a bill that did not work and is not working, and what the American people saw is the economy got worse, not better. The health care bill is that you cannot bring 45 million new people into the marketplace and not increase the supply of doctors, nurses, and expect prices not to go up. Prices are going to skyrocket. Look at the Congressional Budget Office release from yesterday. They're saying that the prices will not go down. And there's a disconnect between what the president is saying and what people are reading. Yes, the Blue Dogs are going to get an earful.
And there seems to be a disconnect in the Democratic Party, even though Jason thinks it may all be settled sometime in the fall. Jason Schechter and Jay Townsend will certainly see this argument and the debate continue right past the recess. Thanks, gentlemen, for joining us.
Thank you.
Ainsley?
President Obama is trying to put out the flames that were sparked by those controversial remarks on the arrest of Harvard professor Henry Gates.